Thank you very much for this invitation. So I guess I'm just going to present for the next 15 minutes. And in this presentation, what we're trying to do here is to open a new door for the nursing specialization. In this case, is related to the plasma collection centers. So I hope that we can justify and defend this position that we are trying to create. Next, the project would not be possible without the collaboration of the ESNO, FONSE, PPTA, and EDTNA that all together focus on raising on the nursing profile. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank especially to Bear for the collaboration during the last few days. Over the past decade, nurses are increasingly specialized, meeting the advanced health requirements and adapting to quality. For example, nurses have been specialized according to health, diseases spectrum, as well as leadership or management. Now there is a need to develop this profile plasma collection nurses competence that we're trying to show you in the next few slides. More and more patients in Europe are diagnosed with life-threatening plasma protein-related disorders, such as immune deficiencies, hereditary angioedema, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiencies, or hemophilia disease, that these diseases can only be treated thanks to plasmapheresis transfusion. So plasma protein therapies are often the primary and only treatment for them. And without treatment, many would not survive or have a diminished quality of life. To meet the growing clinical needs of Europe, European patients, significantly more and more plasma is needed in Europe. In Europe, the major part of plasma for the manufacturing of these therapies are collected in 4 countries where private and public collectors coexist together, such as Austria, Czechia, Germany, and Hungary. Collecting sufficient plasma for the manufacturing of therapies for patients is only possible with healthy plasma donors. Therefore, that's why this is one of the contexts that the plasma center nurse would be treating. She would be in contact with healthy people, not patients. And so most European countries do not have at the moment a dedicated plasma collection program in place. And the next slide, there is a video that I would like you to look at. It's only 2 minutes. I would like to, it's a very, I will screen with you, if that's okay, and see if you can see this little video, which explains about this plasmapheresis technique. Just tell me.
Many patients with rare and genetic disorders are relying on you. That's because blood contains plasma, a key ingredient in the treatments they need to survive. And the only way to get source plasma is from healthy donors. Plasma is the protein-rich, gold-colored liquid portion of blood that remains after red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and other cellular components are removed. It all starts when a donor visits one of the more than 700 source plasma donation centers in North America and Europe. First, the donor will check in at reception, presenting a government-issued ID with proof of current address. The donor then takes a few minutes to complete a health history questionnaire. Then, they must pass a health screening prior to each donation before being able to donate. Source plasma donors in the United States and some European countries are given a modest compensation for their time and travel. Plasma, which is used to make life-saving plasma protein therapies, is collected through a process known as plasmapheresis. During this process, an automated device is used to separate the plasma from the blood. Once the plasma is collected, red blood cells and other components are returned to the donor. After the plasma is collected, it is tested for suitability for further manufacture, frozen, and then held for 60 days prior to pooling. It must pass these rigorous steps to be pooled with other plasma donations. Each plasma pool is further tested before the protein extraction process begins. During this process, life-saving proteins are extracted from the plasma. The separated specific proteins are purified and adjusted for optimal dosage before becoming the finished therapeutic product. Each source plasma donation is tracked the entire time, from the donation all the way to the final therapy. It is essential that healthy people donate plasma because every year it takes approximately 130 plasma donations to treat one person with a primary immune deficiency, 900 donations to treat one person with alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, and 1,200 donations to treat one person with hemophilia. Plasma donation is a process that saves lives, and it all starts with you. Thank you, plasma donors. To learn more and to find the nearest Source Plasma Donation Center, please visit www.donatingplasma.org. And to learn how Source Plasma makes a difference by saving and improving the lives of people with rare, genetic, and chronic diseases, please visit www.howisyourday.org.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, back to the slides now. Thank you. So this was a bit of a video to show you the technique of what is plasmapheresis. So that what we're trying to present here is the position of the nurses working into these plasma collection centers. So that's why we need you to understand very well what is the whole technique. So only with human plasma, it is possible to manufacture life-saving therapies, and plasma donations need to come from healthy people, either through a whole blood donation or through this plasmapheresis technique. In Europe, only 38% of the plasma need is collected by public collection services. So the need of the patients who need plasma is only covered by 38%, and 24% is by private collection centers. So for the remaining 38% is relying on US plasma imports that need to cover the needs of European patients. So many of the EU countries have regulatory systems which always require the physical presence of a physician in a plasma collection center, a doctor. While in Europe, the EU legislation requires a qualified healthcare professional. And here is where we are trying to interfere. As healthcare professionals, we believe that registered nurses would be the ones who could be the ones being present into these centers. It becomes more and more difficult to fill these positions, as physicians are not interested in this position in the plasmapheresis centers, and therefore this becomes a real problem in different areas. For example, there is shorter center opening hours because the need of this presence of these physicians, or actually at the moment because of the COVID situation, obviously there's reduced center capacities, or as we say, the lack of physicians will be eventually a direct consequence in terms of the availability of accessing to this European plasma that is needed for these special diseases that we discussed before. So what the European Blood Directive foresees that potential donors are examined and interviewed before donation by a qualified healthcare professional. And so some member states have determined that a qualified healthcare professional needs to be a medical doctor, as we say, as a physician. But we believe that this could be a registered nurse. And here's where we're trying to come in. The delegation of this task, medical task in the field of blood and plasma donation to a qualified healthcare professionals, in this case registered nurses, is safe for donors, as many studies have shown. So in the next few slides, we want to try to explain to you and to prove that it is very safe, as we said in the beginning, that what we treat is healthy people who actually come and donate. The basic task that a nurse would have to do is to assess if this person is accepted or not to do the donation. Adverse events during donation are quite rare, and they are usually mild in nature. So in the rare cases, most of the adverse events should be as a first aid, or calling the emergency medical services would be a standard procedure. And regulations should be changed to reflect more modern practices that are widely accepted elsewhere. So one way forward could be that physicians delegate the donor assessment to appropriate trained healthcare professionals and enable physicians to be available on call, for example, or instead of being physically present in the center. So studies show that screening of regular plasmapheresis donors by qualified healthcare professionals is safe and effective. In the next slide, we just want to show you a study that was showed in 2019 by Dr. Burkhardt that the donor vigilance data and concluded that the whole blood donation and plasmapheresis donation is safe with very low incidence of adverse events, and only venipuncture related side effects or vasovagal adverse reactions are the most relevant, which is only by 0.4%. So that is why we're trying to justify that the need of having a physician present in the plasma center is not totally necessary because of these adverse events that has been proved that are very mild. Moreover, data from 2016 and 18 with high numbers of donors have similar conclusions. Most observed donors adverse events are vasovagal or hematoma or from the needle insertion venipuncture. So the need of medical intervention was absolutely very much rare. So just focus on this position that we tried to present now. What would be the contribution for a nurse in a plasmapheresis donation unit? Well, there is a wide range of nursing activities that could be done, such as raising awareness for plasma donation. That could be also a role for a nurse in terms of the population, at a general information to the citizens. Developing a curriculum for nurses in plasma collection centers, including that physicians define the criteria for donor assessments, delegate donor examination to train healthcare professionals, or also physicians available on call instead of being present, as we mentioned before. And again, need for political wellness. Okay, so this is what you already mentioned before. So this would be one of the importances here, to legislate changes and to have more regulatory flexibility. Obviously, then calling policymakers at the national and EU level, as we already mentioned before, would be a good way to start creating this position, as there could be differences in different countries in Europe. So just to finalize now the presentation, I just wanted to mention a few key career opportunities for plasma collection specialized nurse. First of all, a lifetime career. This could be as a little specialization as a nurse. We could do from novice to expert position, as it could, the nurse should have a specialization into this area. Contribute to a novel therapeutic environment. And working with experts, maybe had to have a relation with medical industry, pharma industry, pharmacological industry. And also, this is what we would like to do at the very end, no? The finalized project, which would be to have an European nurse mind profession. As if we could, would be very interesting to create this position as an European level, no? As we mentioned before in the previous talks. Also, I didn't want to miss on the reliable timetable. This would be opening hours maybe from 8 to 3 only. You wouldn't have to work double shifts or night shifts as a nurse that I am. So this could be also a good captivating, no? For nurses who would be interested in this position. Also contribute in clinical research. I think this would be a good moment for nurses to be part of this research, maybe contributing into collecting data or whatever needs to be done into research. And also promoting education, not different fields such as promoting education, health promotion into the citizens in global. So just to finalize, to conclude, we believe that nursing specialization in plasma donation is not only a need for the population, but also for patients and also for the nursing profession to give a new path and specialization. And so thank you very much to you all. And from here, we could start a new path, who knows? Thank you.